we're so excited to have you on with us today because what a show. This is so much fun. And you get scripts all the time and you just think, okay, well, there's this, there's that. And then you get something like this. So you're like, whoa, now this I have to do, right?
Not exactly. I wouldn't
No?
say
Okay.
I can't speak for Elisa. I don't know that I get scripts all the time that I get that kind of choice, but like this one did feel pretty special. I think to have like a Godzilla universe, like a monsterverse story that was like this compelling and like this granular as far as like family relationships. Yeah, like get to the end of it was like, what's next? I want to read the next one. Like keep going.
Same. I mean, it's not like you get scripts every day. I do specifically remember with this one though, because we were asked to audition. It was like a breakdown. I don't know if there's part of the email that was missing or if I misread the email, but I did remember thinking, I was like, what is this? Is this worth my time? Like, do I want to spend like, 2 hours working on this tape? It's like, and I don't know what it was, but I'm obviously really glad I did.
She asked that every day we were on set, by the way.
Like, what are we on? Like, what show are we doing? Yeah.
Am I missing something?
It's best to be in the dark about things sometimes. Like,
yeah, nobody ever told Elisa that it was Godzilla.
Yeah. Well, and part of that is when you're a kid and you want to do this and you think about dressing up and getting on set and doing something big and fun like this. Was there ever that moment where you're on the set and just going, all right, this is really cool?
Yes, a lot of those.
A lot. Joe and I very often were like, "Hey, this is Godzilla." Like, I quoted Joe earlier for a great line he came up with, which was like, "Oh my Godzilla," and so we found ourselves saying that quite often on this show.
Wait, but you're missing. There's like an ellipses after Godzilla.
Yes,
like,
but I didn't say I was going to deliver the line as well as you do.
Well, nobody could. Nobody could, of course.
Why don't you do it right now?
No, it's fun.
I love that. But so now what's kind of cool is, now there are kids watching what you're doing and thinking, oh, that's really cool. This is what I want to do just as you were when you were kids. And so what kind of advice do each of you give to someone that's looking up to you going, okay, I want to do something like this?
Get ready for a lot of no's.
Get ready for a lot of no's. That is true.
I think the truth is like we're doing what they do is really the funny thing. It's like they're little kids play. It's really there's like the best actors in the world. You watch little kids and they're like, okay, like you're the doctor and this is the fireman, whatever. And like they divvy up the parts and then they go. Yeah. And like that's what we're emulating that, with obviously like substantially more money and backing and things like that. But nevertheless, like I think
so stay playful.
The best advice is hang on to that.
Yeah, stay playful and hang on to that.
Yeah, absolutely, well said. And so what was the moment on the set that this time around that you just kind of will always remember, that you're just kind of looking around and going, oh, this is really cool, this is how I thought it might be?
So many moments. I personally, I can't narrow it down to one because every episode is like a different adventure. We had different sets. I mean, the characters go around the whole world and we went around several different locations. Some of it was shot in Tokyo. Some characters went to Hawaii. A lot of it was shot in studios, but on different stages. So there's so much kind of diverse places that this takes place in that I don't know, it's very hard to narrow down to one. But there were some pivotal scenes for our characters individually, I guess, without saying too much, that were, let's say, at times more or less interesting to play, perhaps, like,
Yeah, I think there's a number of those moments, but the first moment that comes to mind would be just being on the streets of Tokyo at night with so many background people and such a huge production, and just like my new friend Elisa, who I had met, and we had started to get to know each other and stuff, and just like being there and a part of this is like, this is just bananas. Like, how the hell did I get here?
But how cool is that? And then but you do have to keep in mind, because sometimes those shoots are hard, especially on the big production sets like this. And so is there something that each of you always keep in mind, even when the nights are long or tough, or that kind of thing?
I mean, just to bring it back to what you were
Yeah.
just saying, like I don't know why it just came back to mind. There's a Godzilla street in Tokyo, and we were walking down the street and we saw the Godzilla. I started to laugh hysterically. I think you caught it on camera because you were like,
Yeah,
what the hell is wrong with her? But I was like, I cannot believe we're on this show, and like here we are, and then like there's a, you know, a huge kind of representation of our hero. What was your question? I totally just
Yeah, that what you keep in mind even when the nights are long and the shoots might be stressful, but that kind of keeps you going and keeps you to this point of having great art to show for it.
As an actor, I mean, I think like you know, what keeps you going is probably like the desire to just make a good scene, and like, and if you're really into it, and if you're passionate about the work, and if you want it to be as good as it can be, I mean, that would, you know, certainly what would keep you going in the industry in general. If
Yeah,
you were to talk about like telling the kids
yeah,
what it's like, it's you've got to have some kind of drive and passion for it, and that will keep you going in the industry, and it will keep you going on long nights on sets, although you may have a nap once in a while on like, you know, the local couch or whatever. But like, yeah, and coffee.
I yeah, I mean, I think the thing on those long nights to keep you going actually is that like there are so many people that are working so much harder than you are, and
mhm,
like to be responsible and a good colleague of theirs is to just be prepared and like, you know what I mean, that like it's not just a long night for you the actor, and it's an even longer night for the people that do your hair and makeup and that are setting the lights and all of those guys that work their ass off. Like those are the things that I think like on those long nights that you want to make sure that you deliver as to the best of your ability and stuff like that to make sure that they can get home at a reasonable hour the next morning.
what a show. I mean, this is so much fun just to watch it, be unveiled to us, episode by episode. However, for you working on this, or when you even got the script, you must have thought, "Oh, I have to do this," right?
Yes, and also I was terrified because i- she's the character Keiko that I get to play is a kind of woman, Japanese woman that I've never seen in Hollywood, depicted in Hollywood. So my first thought was, is this even possible? Can I do this? You know? And then the first step was sort of doing the research and finding out that people like her existed in a way, and allowing myself to think, yes, this is a character that could have existed, and I can believe this, and I can convincingly play her. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're a little kid thinking about maybe doing this or watching things on TV, going, that'd be so much fun. And then you get on sets and they aren't always fun, but this one actually looked like it was kind of fun, right?
Yeah. Oh, working with the monsters or?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, everybody was asking, have you met Godzilla yet? And the answer was always, I wish, because it's always, just blue skies or, tennis balls and things like that. But the people that you work with make it really fun because it's not just you kind of like running. It's not you against the monster. It's like with people. And, when you're in it with somebody, it's way more fun. So.
Yeah. Well, is there a moment on the set where we're kind of looking around and just going, "Oh, I'm always going to remember this."
Oh my gosh. Every moment felt like that, really. Like one of the first things that we shot was um the Lawton scene. I think that was the first week, and Anders and I walked onto the set and we were like, we both hadn't done this sort of massive scale production. So we were just like, wow, looking, at how they had built the gimbal that shakes, and we were just going to be on that for the whole day, and we didn't have to pretend to be shaking ourselves and things like that.
Yeah. Well, and then of course, people now look up to you and think this is what I want to do. See this up here. And
Yeah.
so, what kind of advice do you give to the people that are watching you and thinking this is what I want to do?
Oh, I became an actor because I saw Sandra Oh in
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy and
Yes.
many other reasons. I've always loved film, but specifically seeing her made me think, oh, as an Asian woman, I can do this in America. And my hope is that people see Keiko and even if it's not acting, she's so brave, she's so passionate, she's so curious, and she just can't help but go after what she wants. So I want people to, be inspired by that and hopefully, take the first step towards what they want to do in life and, find a purpose like she does. And for Japanese girls and Japanese women, I think it's really, yeah, special that they get to see themselves represented in this sort of incredible character that is Keiko. So
Yeah. Well, and then sometimes this stuff is not so easy to work on. There are long nights and, running after tennis balls isn't always fun. But what is it that you keep in mind that kind of keeps you on that right path even when the nights are long or things are tough?
Oh, I think Kurt Russell says it the best. He's been doing this for 60 years since he was a kid, and he still is always saying we're the luckiest people in the world that we get to do this. And he's the most excited to be on set, and he's the most passionate about making something incredible for the audience. So, you see that and you hopefully are still working, like him when you're his age. And um still as excited, just because you love it so much, right? You love, yeah, and you get to do it and with such an incredible group of people. And it doesn't, that doesn't get old. You're just in awe every single moment, I think.
Yeah, well, so lucky and really, really enjoy everything that you're doing. Thank you so much for being with us and look forward to talking to you more again soon.
Thank you so much.